Hi folks, this is Tim, aka TurboBB. In today's video I will be covering Crelant's V9-T6. This is the second light that I've received for review. Comes in this rather nondescript box that doesn't really have the specifications outside. Go ahead and remove this outer shell. There's an inner box here. And first thing up we have the user guide. Now I've actually looked this over on both this model and the 7G9. And the funny thing is, despite its statement that it's a user guide, there actually are no instructions on the usage of the light, but regardless, I'll cover that. It's rather straightforward. So the V9-T6 also comes with, looks to be a wrist strap and some spare O-rings in here. Alright, so with that said, we'll get that out of the way. Here we come to the main light itself. As you can see, it's got a very nice decent size smooth reflector turbo head. I'll give you exact dimensions later. Overall fit and finish feels pretty good. This is my second Crelant light that I've reviewed, and again, you know, I don't notice any flaws with the anodizing. Also, hold on, let me just get the light here a little bit. The laser etching is very nice and sharp with no blotchiness in them. Okay, and around these sharp edges where you would typically see anodization not applied evenly or missing, I actually did not notice that. So again, overall fit and finish quite good, quite good. Alright, so owing to this nice large smooth reflector, it is a thrower type. Again, I'll get to the numbers later, but let me go ahead and unscrew this tail cap and wait for the autofocus to catch up a little bit. Okay, not square cut threads, but trapezoidal, I guess. And because the tail cap threads are not anodized, this light cannot be locked out. But again, let me just go ahead and grab, purposely intentionally selected XTR 18700 because this is both my widest and longest battery, and typically there are some lights that may have trouble accommodating this size battery. So as you can see, it's a slight tight fit there, but okay, no problems getting that in. The V9-T6 does feature a forward momentary clicky switch. So by momentary, what we mean is like you could half press it and the light will come on, and then full click to keep the light on. And likewise, you can half press to cycle through the modes. As you can see, that's high-low strobe. Okay, and I'm going to put a piece of white paper here to give you a rough idea of the beam profile, and cut this light here. Of course, I'm going to give it the autofocus a corner to focus on, so it doesn't throw off the autofocusing. So as you can see, pretty nice tight hotspot, although it's not really reflecting that accurately in the camera because the exposure values are a little bit higher, but that hotspot, at least from what I'm seeing on the paper, actually the edge ends right here, but as you can see on the camera, it actually looks like it's all the way out here. So, but again, I have taken beam shots. You could take a look at it later and compare it to various other lights. Overall size, it's relatively compact, although it is on the larger end of my 18650 size lights, but it feels very lightweight. Also, this coloring, again, being thrown off a little bit by the auto white balance of the camera, it's a very nice, almost like gunmetal gray. It's actually a very, very attractive finish subjectively. I actually quite like it. You know, it's a stark contrast from the typical black or green or olive colors that I'm normally used to. So at the head, it does feature a stainless steel bezel that is removable, but I'm not going to take it apart here, so I'll cover that in my review. I do not see any anti-reflective coating on the lens though. So now it does feature a centering mode, so that way the LED is centered perfectly. I mean, obviously that should become a standard for all lights, but it's especially critical for throwers because it will create beam artifacts if the LED is not centered properly. So with that said, right after the head there's 4 fins for cooling, some flutings here, or machinings, and I guess 4 flats. Yes, 4 flats, with 2 covered by the engravings. You also do have this combat ring here that you could slide forward, although rather not easily on this light. I guess because it is resting into a groove. Yeah. Okay, so this groove prevents it from sliding back out. Actually, that's a pretty nice touch, because I actually don't have that on my Z2. Z2, you could slide it in and forth, in and out easily, but supposedly if you don't want that or desire that, then at least this would be a pretty handy feature to have. So just go ahead and slot that back up here. Okay. There are these 4 holes on the tail cap spikes here. So those, sorry, let me jump out of sequence here. 4 holes can be used for a wrist strap, or I guess a small enough lanyard with a little key ring, miniature key ring. So the 4 guards do allow the V9-T6 to tail stand, although probably not the most stable, but in a pinch will suffice. And likewise, the stainless steel bezel would allow you to see whether the light is on, in case you stand it on its head and forget about it. Alright, so that pretty much covers a quick high-level walkthrough of the light. Again, I will be fleshing out the review in the coming days, so stay tuned. And as part of standard FCC disclosure, this light was provided by md-lightsource.com for review. And thank you for watching. Cheers.